Everyone can buy the space around them in the real world, whether you want to buy Times Square in New
Yeah.
York or Portland, Maine, or Austin, Texas, or Beijing, or
Wow.
anywhere in the world.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is Crypto Cody, and I'm so excited to do another video for you guys. Guys, if you are really big fans of cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, AI technology, augmented reality, virtual reality, and even real estate, this video is for you. We have an awesome dude by the name of Hrish Lotlikar, and this guy founded a phenomenal decentralized platform that allows you to purchase real estate in an augmented reality with cryptocurrency. Let's dive into his thoughts on blockchain and the future of its growth. Pumped to have our guest on the show today. This guy is quite the developer in the digital world. His name is Hrish Lotlikar. He is a co-founder of SuperWorld, which is a virtual real estate and AR company, as well as a co-founder and chief business development officer in the Role Initiative, Hollywood film, TV, and VR studio. He also has his MPH and MBA in financing and entrepreneurship at the University of Illinois at Chicago, as well as his bachelor in arts at Rice University. So, dude, I actually could sit here and go on and on and on. There's a massive list of things that you've accomplished in your life. Super cool. Really, it's a real treat to have you on the show. But how you doing over there, man?
Great. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on and to share our story with you. And yeah, doing well. I'm in Austin, Texas right now.
That's so cool. I know we're totally on the opposite end of the world right now. I'm up in Maine. You're in Texas. I got to say, this past winter, I kind of wish I was down there with you. I always like to start off with a fun first question. And I know that you've been in production films and whatnot. So I was just curious, what was the first film creation that you were ever a part of that you could possibly remember?
Well, so, my career in Hollywood and being part of a production studio as a co-founder started back in 2015 with the Rogue Initiative. So
Nice.
Prior to that, just was mainly in the tech field as well as investment banking on Wall Street in New York. So it's been relatively recent since I've gotten into that field, and really the motivation for me and the reasons that happened is in the last few years there's been a confluence of interactive entertainment and linear Hollywood entertainment. And so, I kind of came from the technology world, because both of those worlds are colliding, Hollywood and technology. And,
Oh, totally.
So yeah, it's been a great ride, and I'm excited to continue, my progression and learning in that world. So it's pretty exciting. So yeah, 2015 is the answer to that question. It's been
That's
about
awesome.
5 years. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
And when you obviously are pretty heavily involved in VR and AR technology. Like, so can you kind of just expand on that a little bit? Like, how did you get started in that? What got you interested in that field?
Yeah, that's a great question. The field has been around for many, many years. I think the early 90s with NASA is how a lot of the virtual reality type research and applications were first developed for training, to go to space. And
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and technology is developed, and back then it was hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars to get a headset. The U.S. federal government that was kind of buying those things, right? And Palmer Luckey, the founder of Oculus, who started a Kickstarter project to build the Oculus, which became the Oculus Rift.
Wow.
I think really brought kind of modern day virtual reality to the market when he was able to launch that using capital from Kickstarter, and then ultimately got bought by Facebook in 2014. So that was my entrance into virtual reality. I was able to get onto an Oculus Rift early enough, I guess. This was
totally
6 years ago.
Wow.
When I tried a VR headset at a friend's house. And that kind of really excited me about the industry. My co-founder at Rogue Initiative also had a similar story where he was able to try one of the early models of Oculus Rift.
Wow.
And so we were both kind of very motivated and excited about the space. And, as you know, from blockchain, when you're in these very niche kind of leading edge technology fields, it's a small world, right?
Oh,
So
totally.
you can very
Absolutely.
quickly kind of get to know people, get to know what's happening, and be able to at least learn and try to make an impact pretty quickly. So
Yeah,
that's the
absolutely.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, and I mean, kind of going off of the blockchain that you just mentioned, I mean,
Yeah.
how did you get started with, like, how did you tie in your company with blockchain? Like, what was about blockchain that you personally liked?
So with SuperWorld, the idea there was we saw Pokemon Go become the fastest company to hit $1 billion in revenue
Oh
and
my
just
word.
really
Yeah.
become a
Crazy.
worldwide phenomenon. And by the way, a lot of people don't know this. This was their best year yet, right?
No
Niantic
way.
growing
Seriously.
very fast. Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh, that what happened to that company?" But no, there's a huge population of people around the world that are very avid
Wow.
players of Pokemon
I
Go, and
never
that
would have guessed that. That's crazy.
yeah. So the attraction and interest around AR is only growing, and
Right.
so our goal with SuperWorld was to create a augmented reality world,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
that's what we created, a world where you can create your own, you know, Pokemon Go or whatever. You create your own AR world around you, and you can view and discover AR content. But AR content, augmented reality content, is by
Right.
definition geographic, meaning,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
when you look at a 3D object in front of you, that 3D object occupies space, right?
Okay. Yep.
So
Yep.
as
That makes
opposed to
sense.
looking at your phone where you're watching a video, now that's on a 2D screen, right?
Right. Right. Right.
But
Right.
if you're looking at a 3D object, like, you look at the IKEA app and you take a piece of furniture and put it in your living room, or
Right.
you look at a car or something in 3D in front of you, or
Yeah.
there's a variety of millions of 3D objects you can look at. All of those things, as I mentioned, take space, and so we thought, what if you could monetize that space
Yeah. No
in
kidding.
front
Wow.
of you, right? And monetize the space all around you. And what if you could buy and sell that space and
Yeah.
create a platform where anyone can participate in that commerce? And so part of SuperWorld is an augmented reality real estate
Yeah.
uh, platform where anyone can buy the space around them in the real world, whether you want to buy Times Square in New
Yeah.
York, or Portland, Maine, or Austin, Texas, or Beijing, or
Wow.
anywhere in the world for that matter, right?
Wow.
Historical places, downtowns. And then to answer your question, where the blockchain came into that is, as you know, and as your listeners know, the idea of the blockchain is that you're able to have a peer-to-peer trust network
Totally.
where you can have transparency and financial innovation, and all of those benefits of having a decentralized network really could benefit this virtual real estate platform that we
Yeah.
were building, right? Because, as a very specific example, if I was selling you virtual real estate, but I was doing it in a centralized fashion where
Yeah.
I control the information about who owns the real estate, that doesn't create as trusting of an environment as doing that same thing on a blockchain where
Right. Right.
everyone, like a public deed
Yes.
for physical real estate, where everyone in the community can testify that someone owns a piece of property because the public
Right. Right.
is involved in kind of verifying that through a deed, right? And
Right.
so
Right.
similarly here, we can use blockchain infrastructure to sell virtual real estate. We get the financial innovation that blockchain provides, but also it's public. It's transparent. It's on the public ledger.
That's awesome. And I mean, obviously, like, people are so tied to their phones. Like, we're constantly on our phones all the time. And I mean, I really do think there's something to be said for climbing into a world that you can actually purchase existing real estate in a digital format. And now I'm a real estate investor myself. I have my own properties in the physical world,
Mhm.
and I guess it's such an interesting concept to me. When I first heard about it through our mutual friend Vanessa, I was really excited to talk with you about it because I want to be an investor of this. So I mean, how do you go about purchasing the real estate? Is it an easy transaction, and then I guess with that also, could you kind of dive into like when you own that real estate, I mean, is there any chance that there's like potential equity growth in this real estate that you purchase, or how would stuff like that work?
Sure. So yeah, it's very easy to buy, and just to give you the fundamental reasons why someone would want to do it
Yeah, please.
is
Yeah.
SuperWorld is a platform for discovering and creating and monetizing augmented reality content. Right.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
principally, that's foundationally what SuperWorld is. Back to Pokemon Go.
Right.
Imagine if you could create your own world, right,
So
of
cool.
whatever
Yeah.
you want, right? And so you could do that. Brands can do that, right?
Yeah.
So Coca-Cola could say, hey, there's 12 Coca-Cola bottles around Portland, Maine. Go find them all and win a car, right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Right. And or if your child wants to learn about the solar system, he or she could sit on the couch and just search for solar system and look at the planets in front of her on the couch, right?
Oh,
and,
yeah, exactly.
and maybe National Geographic would have a solar system, right? But that solar system is an advertisement for their TV show on space.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
The cosmos or something.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
So you start thinking about the transformation of advertising from something that is distracting you to something that is actually providing you a lot of value, right? Where you actually are wanting to experience this information, whether it's entertainment, whether it's education, whether it's travel or something related to your occupation. You can imagine there's so many ways to monetize augmented reality content. And so back to the real estate, if you could buy that space, whether it's at your house, so someone else is buying the space at your house, buying the property, right? You don't have to live there to own it. The physical world is different than the virtual world, right?
Yeah.
So you could buy the virtual world anywhere, downtowns, sports stadiums, anywhere you want, right?
That's so amazing, dude.
And the idea behind that is you got to think about how many users are going to be at that location.
Right, exactly.
That's where the monetization happens.
Right.
But then the other idea is some people just like certain places. So maybe I want to buy, the Eiffel Tower or something because I have some, personal connection to the Eiffel Tower. Maybe I want to buy Steve Jobs' house because I'm a fan of technology, right? And so there's other reasons. Back to the blockchain, to be very technical, we're using what's called an ERC 721 token.
Okay, sure.
Which is a non-fungible token, which is a collectible, right?
And this is on the Ethereum platform. Is that what you're talking about?
This is on Ethereum, but we're open to building on other blockchains.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So it's less about what blockchain we're on, and it's more about allowing our users to be able to purchase real estate seamlessly.
That's awesome.
Right? So we want to open that up. The reason people want to buy the real estate is because they are able to share in the revenue or the commerce that occurs in any of those locations, and they're able to be part of the ecosystem that is SuperWorld. And they can do that by buying those Ethereum, non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, totally.
And they do that very easily. So you just go to superworldapp.com or just Google SuperWorld, augmented reality, and it'll come up pretty quickly, or SuperWorld AR, and it'll come up.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do, just for all of my viewers so that they know, I'm going to make sure that I have all of your links in the description below, just to make sure that people can visit your websites and the different things that you guys have been putting out. And that's, dude, this is crazy. I mean, I feel like we're kind of in the groundbreaking point of like going from TV to virtual reality or something like that. It's just insane. And I guess, with that being said, do you think that, that So real estate will always be a thing, obviously.
Mhm.
People are always going to be buying and selling real estate. That's never going to leave. But do you think that people are going to start getting into this virtual kind of real estate just as commonly as regular real estate? I mean, like how normalized do you think it's going to be for people? Like the future of it? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a very important and deep question. So, I think that as the technology is becoming more ubiquitous, and to be clear, there's 2 billion mobile phones right now that are AR enabled. So anything after an iPhone 6 Plus, you can look at AR, right? So when I talk about the tech, if you were just talking about a mobile phone, there's a lot of mobile phones out there that you can see AR on. That's the reason Pokemon Go could grow that fast, right?
Yeah, of course.
There's going to be soon 6 billion phones. Why? Because every mobile phone that's created, is AR enabled. And the technology on the hardware, and the reason you see more and more cameras on your phone is not just for picture quality, it's for augmented reality.
Oh my word,
right?
They're gearing up for it. Yeah,
they're gearing for it. I mean, Tim Cook at Apple's talking about it in 2022. Apple has already internally announced to his employees, Tim Cook announced this, that they're looking to launch the headset, the AR headset coming from Apple. And Apple's usually one of the last companies to launch their products. They want to make sure it's perfect and there's a huge market demand. So they usually are the last one to market, or one of the lasts. And so, we anticipate that a lot of other manufacturers of hardware are going to be coming out with headsets. So Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook, who bought Oculus for close to $2 billion, has already announced that they're coming out with AR glasses as well.
Goodness. Wow.
Google, you name it. The Qualcomm, which is a major maker of chips, has come out with a new chip called the Snapdragon chip, which came out in December and was announced. They are basically allowing any of these hardware manufacturers out there to come out with AR headsets.
Wow.
And so you're going to see a lot of companies now have the capability, because of this new chip, to create AR headsets, right?
Yeah,
and so
of course.
Back to your question about, when is virtual real estate going to become more and more interesting, is when we start looking at content around us in augmented reality.
Yeah, totally.
And that is going to become more and more a common everyday experience, whether it's looking at Google Maps or looking at a restaurant recommendation or looking at, as I said, binging on AR content as opposed to binging on video content, right? The difference between looking at a video and looking at a 3-dimensional hologram in your living room is light years, right?
I can only imagine.
So much more real.
I got to be honest, I haven't even tried it yet. So it's like I'm super excited to actually try it. I see sometimes these little things over in the mall or something like that. You can sit inside if you pay or whatever, and you can just kind of give it a little test ride or whatever. But that's crazy. I mean, so now you've seen the movie Ready Player One, yes?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, do you think that that's far-fetched, or do you think that that's kind of somewhat of a possible future reality?
Yes. I mean, Ready Player One is a good example of a virtual world platform.
Yeah.
And if you think about SuperWorld, there's a lot of elements to the way that we've designed SuperWorld and the way that we're thinking about SuperWorld that has a lot of connections with, what was happening there in that movie.
Totally.
There is a difference in virtual reality and augmented reality.
Yeah.
To be technically correct, in SuperWorld, you can go into virtual reality as well.
That's so cool.
So it's not just limited. I call it an AR platform, but to be honest, it's an XR platform. And XR is the word for extended reality, which is, VR, AR, MR.
Multiple realities. Yeah.
So you can go into a completely virtual world or be in the world where you are physically and see virtual objects around you.
That's truly amazing. Now, I got a fun question for you. I was on your Instagram earlier, and I came across this really cool picture, and I'm just curious if you could kind of talk about it, what's going on, where you are, and I don't know if you can see this at all.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So what's going on in this picture, man?
Yeah, so I am in Ukraine in that photo.
Yeah.
I'm at a company that is making a, a chair, really, that allows you to play virtual reality video games or simulations. And
Yeah.
so this chair, so you can imagine maybe playing maybe a fighter jet game, and you're sitting in this chair, you put on the virtual reality goggles,
Yeah.
and this chair will completely simulate, doing rolls and, flying up and down in
That's
that
amazing,
jet.
dude.
And it can do, whatever movement you want, 180, 360 rolls,
Wow.
all kinds of stuff. And yeah, it's pretty intense, I'll have to tell you.
Holy crap, man. I want to
But
try it. That sounds like a
yeah,
fun ride.
yeah, and that's what's happening right now in that field is, we're getting into haptics where, friends of mine have a company called Tesla Suit, which is a
Interesting.
haptic suit that you wear. So you get to feel what's happening in virtual reality. If someone punches you in
Wow.
the virtual world, you're going to feel it in your
Wow.
chest. Yeah, and there's chairs like the one you saw, hardware like that kind of makes you go through, movement and other things as
What does it
well.
feel like? It must feel totally real.
Yeah, it feels completely real. There's a term
Wow.
in the field of XR called presence.
Okay.
And presence is what you feel when you're in virtual reality for 30 seconds or a minute, and
Yeah,
you
totally.
start feeling like that virtual world that you're in is actually where you are.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, and that's when you have presence, is when you lose connection with the physical world where maybe you actually are, and whether you're on Mount Everest in virtual reality,
Yeah.
you start looking around and you start feeling like you're on that mountain,
Oh my
and
word.
it feels very real. So yeah,
Well, it's crazy because I
very
mean
powerful.
this idea of virtual world or just all these different realities.
Hmm.
It's going to be kind of limitless to some degree, right? I mean,
Hmm.
there's just going to, especially kind of, we're starting to develop, or commonize these ideas of like decentralized platforms and things that you can actually literally be in your own whatever you want to do whenever you want. And it's just, I guess, do you think this will ever rob us of the actual real world to some degree, or do you think people will kind of be in this world too? Or like, I guess when I walk around town, or if I go to a restaurant and I see people on dates, I see them like this all the time. Like this is
Yeah.
all I see, is just on their phones all the time. And it's just like, I think that there's actually something to be said for the virtual reality, kind of taking people out of the screen and into a world where there's even better socializing to some degree, maybe, or
Yeah.
whatever. But I know I'm kind of all over the place with this. I'm just trying to grasp the reality of the future of what this is going to do for society. Like it seems like people having a limitless opportunity, is that going to, are they going to spend more time in that, you think? Or do you think that we're going to be in the real world more? Or, I mean, what?
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think about, like this being totally revolutionizing the way that we live our lives,
Yeah. I think my thought on that is, kids in the future aren't going to define reality that doesn't contain, digital information. So for
Right, right.
them, the virtual world and the physical world will be reality. It's
Yeah.
all reality. It's kind of
That's,
like,
wow, dude, that's like mind blowing to think about. Like
yeah,
it is reality.
it is reality. I mean, like, is your computer reality? Sure, it's a physical object that you're
Sure.
touching, but you're looking at, information, videos, etc., that aren't necessarily taking place in that box in front
Right.
of you, right?
That's amazing. I mean, you're
Yeah,
here with me, but you're in
yeah,
Texas and I'm in Maine,
yeah, yeah,
like, but it's
yeah.
a reality, that
It's
we're here.
reality. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy to think about.
Yeah, and so it's a similar kind of concept, I think, that whether you're looking at a screen on the wall or if that screen is actually just a virtual representation of a screen, or
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
looking at someone on your couch, but actually that person is a hologram.
Right.
And
It's
but
amazing.
whether they're actually there or they're an AI, and an artificial intelligence bot or a avatar of someone,
Yeah.
that can be pretty real. I mean, I don't know if I think our definition of reality is slightly going to change, and it's going to include virtuality.
Yeah, no kidding. My goodness. Well,
Yeah.
dude, so now, obviously, most of my viewers are very, very blockchain, cryptocurrency driven kind of
Sure.
people. And I was just curious, I mean, if you want to share a little bit about it, but what are your thoughts on that? Like, as far as, the currency kind of world and asset world coming into all these different platforms, like, do you think that cryptocurrency, I know that right now we're in quite a down trend with the whole market in general.
Mhm.
But do you think it's going to last? I mean, do you think it's going to continue to be innovated into these new companies and digital virtual companies that are coming out, or what are your thoughts on cryptocurrencies in general?
Yeah, I think that in the last couple of years, you've seen a reduction in the utilization of financing mechanisms like ICOs.
Yeah, exactly.
So, looking at cryptocurrencies as a way of financing companies using initial coin offerings, I think you've seen a reduction in that popularity of those types of mechanisms for
Yeah,
a
yeah,
variety of reasons. I think a lot of the companies that were utilizing those processes were kind of taking advantage of the hype around that form of financing, and so there
yeah,
were a lot of ideas that weren't really on a foundational level. I think had
yeah, totally.
some strengths to them out there raising capital. So I think I think that's definitely put a black mark on that mechanism, and in some ways crypto in general and cryptocurrencies.
Yeah,
However, I think that Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the top currencies out there, and the ways that those have been adopted, I don't think those are going away. I think that they're going
yeah,
to be innovative and are going to allow companies like SuperWorld and others utilize those platforms to build upon or be forms of holding an asset.
yeah, totally.
However, to your question, I think that that the platform of the blockchain is going to continue to innovate and to evolve,
Yeah,
and that I think ultimately companies are going to be able to utilize the functionality and the value and benefit of that blockchain. But I
yeah,
think the term or the prominence of the use of the term within a company's business model in terms of marketing
yeah,
isn't going to be as prominent. So you're going
sure.
to get all the benefits of blockchain, but you're not going to have to talk about it as much. You're going to be talking about the product itself, and I
Yeah,
think you're already seeing that happen. I mean, in our case, we still talk about blockchain because to buy SuperWorld Realestate, you have to have Ether, and you have to create a wallet on the
right,
website.
right.
And on the SuperWorld website as an example.
Yeah,
So we bring it up,
yeah,
but there are wallets and integrations that are coming online and are improving, where all of this is going to be very seamless, where
yeah, of
you're getting
course.
all the benefits of the blockchain, the public ledger, the trust, the innovation, the financial sophistication, without having to even know what the blockchain is, which that's
Yeah,
kind of where I think we need to go. And
right.
that's going to take more time and innovation, but I think ultimately, similar to how we think of the internet and how every company is on the internet, as opposed to back in the late 90s when if you added a .com on your company name, that actually gives you, some market value.
Right.
Because it
Exactly.
means that you're an internet company. So I think it's going to go the same way.
Yes. Yeah.
But I also think that it is a very important component of the technology stack that any company that wants to survive and be important in the next 10 or 15, 20 years is going to have to be a company that integrates that technology, just because it offers so much
Oh, totally. Yeah, exactly.
for users.
With all that being said, I mean, because I was looking when I was first looking onto your platform of SuperWorld, and then when you go to that website, what happens
Yeah.
is you have to create a wallet. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because the
That's
wallet's going to be connected to the actual platform that you're going to use. And
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, you want to make sure that you take care of the private key that you create for that wallet. Make sure that you keep that safe.
Sure.
I know this is for my viewers,
Yep.
so they understand not to
Yep.
lose that. And then
Yep.
from that point, you're able to just go out and start purchasing with Ethereum, or
Yep.
you can have Ethereum sent from whatever
Yep.
exchange or wallet you currently hold Ethereum to the SuperWorld wallet that you created, and then you can just start purchasing any kind of digital real estate anywhere you want.
Yes. And we're integrated with Coinbase. We're integrated with
Okay.
Portis, Fortmatic, MetaMask. So
Awesome.
there's a variety of wallet options that you can use. We want to make it as seamless as
Oh,
possible.
that's brilliant. So it could just be like
Yeah.
like an extension essentially to kind of.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So cool.
And then they log in, get their wallet, and then they can just search and look around the world. There's different, every plot of land that's available, you can just see right on a map. And if something's been purchased already, it'll be grayed out on the map. And if something is been purchased and is up for sale, it will be green on the map. So you can see there's already properties that are up for sale. But right now it's a land grab. There's a lot of prime real estate that's available.
That's so cool.
So if you understand what we're building, understand the opportunity to be part of SuperWorld and the ecosystem, you come on board and buy a plot of land, and now you're a key stakeholder on the platform.
Wow. Dude, I'm so pumped about this. This is getting me really excited.
Thanks.
So now,
Thanks.
what are some other developments that you've been working on, or is this kind of your primary, you're putting your all in all into it right now, or is there anything new or just anything that you're outside of this that you're working on right now?
I'm an advisor at a couple of companies. I'm an advisor at SingularityNet, which is a decentralized artificial intelligence marketplace.
That's amazing.
Founded by Dr. Ben Goertzel, who's pretty famous in the world of artificial intelligence and artificial general purpose intelligence, AGI. Which is coming up with super intelligence, right? And Ben was on the Joe Rogan show after Elon Musk, so you might have seen him there. But he's a brilliant guy, and he's an old friend of mine. And so I'm helping that team, and the team's working on super exciting stuff. I'm also a co-founder advisor of a new company called Content Engine.
Interesting. Okay.
Which is an artificial intelligence platform for creating content.
Wow.
So if you, for example, have created a wonderful YouTube show, and if you are wanting to create content for it, right now what you would probably have to do is hire a blogger or write articles yourself, right? And it'll probably take you, I don't know, a week to write an article. You have to edit it. You got to think of a topic, right?
Yeah, of course.
Content Engine, all you need to do is, find 5 articles on the web or on Medium or any, articles in general in the news about, as an example, blockchain as a topic, right? Which is one of your areas of interest. You send Content Engine those 5 articles, and Content Engine can make you 1,000 articles immediately, all linked to your YouTube page.
Wow.
And so we have an ability to create automated content that improves your SEO, will allow your readers to find you and to understand more about what your YouTube show is about.
Wow.
And all done utilizing machine learning and artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Well, I'm in. I'm totally in. You sold me.
That's
so
so
cool.
that's pretty exciting. It's a new venture that I'm a part of and helping. So
wow. And I mean, with artificial intelligence, I mean, that's a whole nother kind of topic in development that's going on in our world right now. And it's funny because you mentioned Elon Musk too as well. I mean, he has such an interesting opinion about artificial intelligence as far as like he feels it to be almost kind of scary to some degree. Like it can actually outsmart humanity to some degree. Like, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think that that's something to be worried about, or do you think that we have that under control?
Well, first of all, I love Elon Musk. I think he's amazing.
Oh, same, yeah.
And,
great guy.
you know, I think what he's doing for humanity and innovation and improving the world and making us a multi-planetary species.
Sending us to Mars. Here we go.
Solar, you know, the Boring Company. I mean, I think you know, the world of him. So I really applaud everything he's doing and how hard he works. Secondly, I would not discount his opinion on any subject. To be frank, I think he's brilliant. And you know, I think on that subject of AI, it is something that we should be concerned about. I think at SingularityNet, the reason that we've created a decentralized AI marketplace is the concept there is, you know, the danger in AI is when it's possibly centralized. So when one entity, like a sovereign government like North Korea or Russia or somewhere maybe controls that AI, that's when it could be dangerous. When, you know, even a private corporation controls the AI. So maybe even counterintuitively, if you think no one controls the AI and it's actually, you know, kind of monitored or controlled by no one, that actually could be the thing that keeps us safe, because it is kind of open source and can be, you know, improved upon, and doesn't have this kind of centralized control. And so that's the idea there, is how do you put in safety nets where the AI that we're working on doesn't destroy us, which is, I think, what he's thinking about. And I think Elon, you know, in that interview with Joe Rogan, he talks about how humanity and AI will really become one, and that is what will save us, because we're going to, you know, just join with the AI. And I believe that. I mean, that's already happening. I think, as he aptly stated, you stated as well, that we can't go anywhere without our phones. And
it's just, we're addicted to it, man. I mean, it's like we can't live without it. It's crazy.
So now it's just a bandwidth problem, as he states, right? It's just, how do you get that information into your head, as opposed to looking at it on a screen and reading it or watching videos. And I think, you know, what he's doing with Neuralink is I think what's going to solve some of that, and what's going to get us connected to AI. So I think that's where we're going. So I'm not worried about it, because I think it's like he says, I think part of the connection of humanity and AI is going to be the thing that makes us immune, because we're going to be assimilated.
Well, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you have all these movies. You got iRobot, you have Terminator, you have Matrix, you know, people waking up into a reality because machines are taking them all down. And it's just like, it's crazy to think about. But I mean, at the same time, I think that this is good for society, I think. I mean, it's beautiful. It's an absolute beautiful thing that we're creating.
You know, I think AI is going to solve a lot of problems. I think that you're going to be able to live a life that is going to be unimaginable, because of the innovation that is going to be upon us. There's a really great book that I'm reading right now. I'm almost done with it. It came out in January, by Peter Diamandis and Philip Kotler, I think, is the last name, or the first name of his name. But it's The Future is Coming Faster Than You Think.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I think I have that title right, but it's great. And it's all about the combination of innovations that are occurring at the same time that is bringing this future world to us now. Whether it's talking about flying cars or biotechnology, AI, augmented reality, virtual reality world, the future of retail, the future of advertising, the future of entertainment. I mean, all these things are happening very quickly. I'm a big fan of Ray Kurzweil, and there was a really great documentary called Transcendent Man, which came out in 2009, I think. And, Ben Goertzel's in that. That's how I actually first heard of Ben Goertzel. But great documentary. So I think that, all those kind of, whether that book or those different pieces of media out there really kind of open your eyes to how fast the world is changing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's just, dude, I could sit here and talk to you probably the entire day about all this stuff, just all the hypotheticals of everything and the reality of things that are actually happening. But I know that we're kind of running out of time here. But I do have one final question for you, if that's all right. And it's, what's your best advice that you could give us, period? Like just the overall, if you were to give somebody some life advice, what would be the best advice that you could give us?
I'm always learning, so I don't know if I can ever, I'm always someone that is more apt to learn and try to listen and look for advice, to be honest. So I try to espouse that philosophy to try. I mean, this is something that I'm just very passionate about, is to learn and to read. I read a lot. And I'm very curious about the world. I try to follow, people like Elon Musk and what they're thinking about, or, I've read a lot of biographies, about Steve Jobs and just lots of other innovators out there, back to Leonardo da Vinci, and, how they think about and how they thought about things. And so I think that, I would say that the world is evolving fast. And, I think that it's important to not remain static. So it's it's about learning as much as you can, going after things that you're passionate about. So don't force yourself to learn things if you want to learn other things. I mean, I think everyone has things that they are naturally inclined to be interested in and maybe are kind of driven by or attracted to. So I would say it's really important to know yourself, kind of stepping back and understanding what drives you, and then try to learn as much as possible about technologies or whatever it is that you enjoy, because ultimately, hopefully, you're going to have a lot of things automated. So you're going to have a little bit more free time to do things. And, I think that's the beauty of all of this technological change, is we're going to enter a period of where humanity is going to even flourish even more, even with all, you hear about all the stuff that's happening right now with, a variety of things in the news, et cetera. But, I think ultimately, if you listen to Bill Gates and others out there about how the world is in the best shape that we've been in history, and
it's amazing.
People's ability to have basic needs met, and I mean, we can improve all those things, and those things are improving. But whether it's crime, all these things have really kind of, I think, solving a lot of problems, and it's because of technology and some of these great visionaries like Bill Gates and others who are doing so much to improve the world. And I think it's going to get better and better with technology. So I think, again, I think everyone's going to have the ability to really explore, whether it's because of technology, they're going to be able to learn things so much easier, to explore their passions, explore their interests. So I would say that is my advice. I mean, that's my advice to myself is, take a step back and really think about, what do I enjoy, whether it's what I enjoy learning, what I enjoy doing, and go after those things. Because,
totally.
Now's the time.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Hrish, I have to say, man, you are a true man of much wisdom, and I really appreciate you sharing all that with us. And just a brilliant mind, dude. Seriously, I really look forward to seeing the future innovations of your company, and I look forward to purchasing my first bit of real estate on your platform. So that's going to be really exciting. But dude, thank you so much for being a part of the show. And again, I'm going to leave all your links below, so that way people can be a part of your platform and all the different innovations that you are working on right now. And just thanks so much again for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Cody, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it, and looking forward to talking again with you soon.
Of course. I would absolutely love that. Maybe next time it'll be me in Texas with you.
Yeah, that'd be great. We'll have some tacos.
Dude, I'm into that. That sounds like a great idea. I'll bring some lobster. How about that?
That'd be great.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. See you later.
See ya.